is world-class Zerg player, world-class ZVZ player, too. Yeah. And he has a lot of tricks up his sleeve, and he's certainly shown that he's played some incredible opponents. He has not been deterred at all. So here we are, guys, on Cloud Kingdom. Take it away.
Well, here we go in the very far bottom left corner on the purple map. It's going to be Azubu's very own viOLet. Recent winner of $1,000 at the Lone Star Clash. In the very far top right corner, of course, Snute, who won $3,700 at DreamHack. It's going to be your red Zerg player. Ready to go, man. And it looks like I might be wrong about this 9 pool. He's droning up. So he's going to go ahead and play the Mech Warrior in a game. Let's see how it goes for him.
Okay, so we'll see now as both these players get started here in just a second. Both these players have the tendency to do something a little bit ridiculous every so often. And speaking of a little bit ridiculous, it's not Snute that's going to 9 pool. It's actually viOLet.
Yeah, there it is, man. So, 9 pool? It's a little bit on the scary side. It's a bit more all-in-ish compared to a 10 pull. You need to either A, snipe a hatchery by getting it canceled, or 2, kill about 5 to 6 drones for it to be worth it for you, if you expand behind it, that is. So we'll get to see what Snoot's going to go for in a few seconds. He's going after the 14, 15 drone mark very soon, and if he can make a pull about 14 or 15, he'll be just fine. If he goes for hatchery first, I'm going to be a little bit scared for him.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. We've actually seen that come back to bite a couple of opponents here soon, especially if he goes for what viOLet did last time and decide to go for hatch and then gas afterwards and really delay that pool. Thinking that he's going to gain the upper edge by switching up his build and going for something a little bit different. He's up to 15 drones now. Let's see if he stops at the 200.
Oh, he's going for it. He's
there we
okay.
go.
It's going to take a little bit of micro, but the lings should be getting there right when your lings are going to be started. So it's a little bit of micro. Just make sure you save a couple drums. You can afford to lose 2 to 3, but at that point, you should be able to defend it pretty nicely. So 6 lings have been queued up. They will be running across the middle of the map, and it's really not that far of a rush distance. And viOLet's micro is pretty darn good, as we saw actually in Game 1 when he saved a couple of his drones. So, all right, man, we're going to take a deep breath. 8 lings will be heading out very soon. It's very tense right now.
Okay, so the first 4 lings have already popped. They're moving their way across the map. You mentioned before, this is going to time it exactly the moment, basically, when the lings are first started. 20 seconds left on this spawning pool. Snute going to move up to his own lings and a queen here in just a bit. And he already does see the lings moving across. So what is his strategy going to be? His spawning pool now done at about 3, 2, 1. There it is. Lings are popping up.
All right, so there go the lings right away. Should be seeing a queen. Oh, did he? He supply blocked himself.
Yes, he did.
Oh, dear. That's going to be hurtful a little bit because he's not going to be able to get a queen out for a little bit. There's the over. I'm sorry, I missed it. So, yeah, he's going to be all right. Queen should be popping out pretty soon as well as he's going to get the resources. But right now, we have the lings knocking on the natural right now, scratching away. It's getting pretty low on HP. He's going to bring all of his drones down.
There we go.
If he can hold the hatchery, this will be worth it, and he does just fine.
Okay, so now he's got the drones here. He may lose a couple of workers, but like you mentioned before, there needs to be tangible unit loss here for viOLet to have made this worth it. And now the lings have actually taken quite a bit of damage. There's still a bunch left over, but viOLet is expanding out of this. He's deciding to put up his own hatchery. He's starting to drone as well. So this is going to be it for the Zergling aggression. And Snute has taken a couple of losses, but even with the lost mining time here, he's more than made up for the economic problems that viOLet has gotten himself into by not having that hatchery out, not having those extra drones.
How many lings or drones have you lost so far?
Let's take a look.
2. Okay, just 1. So very fantastic job in terms of defending. Yeah, he's missing out a little bit of mining time. viOLet's doing a very good job of pulling back in, doing a little bit of damage. His micro has been so great here. He's been saving drones left and right. Oh, I say that, and he loses 2 more there.
The caster curse.
That's fantastic, man. But that 1 ling should deal with those lings as well. He has the Overlord over the natural right now outside of viOLet's base, so he knows no more lings are on the way, and he has successfully hold. Can we look at the drone count really quick?
Absolutely.
It's going to be 17 to 16. So overall, everything balances out, and that's really an attribution of viOLet doing a great job of being aggressive at the natural and not really ever fully engaging, but keeping that threat there.
Now, Snute is going to be able to utilize extra production cycles a bit faster than viOLet will, so he should pull slightly ahead here in just a second. He had that second queen out earlier. He had his hatchery done earlier, so everything's kind of rolling for him at the moment. Now, he is still bypassing gas, and as we can see, viOLet is deciding to prioritize that speed once again. Wants to make sure that he has good early Zergling speed. Snute's going to take a look around here, and this is actually a really good scout for him. He sees that the hatchery's up. There's not any sort of a crazy all-in following this up, at least in the very short term.
Yeah, that scout was very important for him. He needed to see if there was a bailing nest, like you mentioned, if there's any all-in coming or anything. And with that, he's going to be able to drone up. Look at that, 8 drones now popping out. As soon as he saw that main and saw nothing was down, he's like, okay, I'm droning up right now. I'm going to go ahead and start moving towards that, grabbing 2 gases as well. At that point, he can go whatever tech he wants to, and most likely, I would prefer bailiness on this map, but it is new. He could be throwing down a Roach Horn at that natural. I prefer bailings in terms of defensive statures, just because that choke at the natural is actually a little bit smaller than most maps, so it's easier to get nice bailing hits.
Especially against a player like viOLet, who has prioritized speed a couple of different times. Oh, but of course it's Snute.
He doesn't want him to see it. He pulled it back right when the lings came in. I wonder why he care so much about him seeing it. He could have just thrown it behind the mineral line there if he cared that much. But
and we are going to see Speedling Baneling pressure at the very least coming out of viOLet. And this is the real problem, with going for Roach first. You always have this very tense moment where, yes, Snute can do a good job of walling this in. He's got the Evolution Chamber, he's got the Roach Warren, he'll put 2 queens up here, and this is going to prevent a lot of units from making their way through. But the issue is that still, Zergling Baneling attacks can do a lot of damage even despite that.
yeah, especially if you group up the roaches too much. You have 4 or 5 in a clump, and it actually does a decent amount of damage overall. But with the queens being there, I believe it's an extra one as well, so he should have a transfuse available, which is actually quite helpful in a Baneling Ling engagement. He's got 2 gases as well, and he put the most of his gas into the first layer. Both layers will be finishing up around the same time, but this time, Snute isn't going for an all-in. He's actually started up his +1, which really indicates that it's going to hold his natural, and with this wall-off, really no Ling or Baneling aggression should get into the natural, and viOLet should actually be content with grabbing a 3rd.
Yeah, and viOLet is, content for teching up at the moment, seems like. He's got quad gas, he's got his layer tech just about to finish up. Yeah, and he's going to have a perfect amount of gas to start moving into that Spire play. And we can even see that he's being a little bit more defensive, too, putting up additional Spine Crawlers. He knows his opponent pretty well. Snute will certainly want to get out on the map and try and do some damage with some Roaches later on.
Yeah, the 3 Spine Crawlers of the natural really yell out Spire. If there was a scout that happened, actually, any Lings or anything would came in, Snute would have actually started preparing for that Spire tech. But nonetheless, it is going to be on its way very soon. He should have enough for about 8 to 9 mutas if he, of course, manages his econ correctly. And looking over to Snute, he's grabbing a 3rd. Now, with him grabbing for this Roach style, it's going to be very important for him to turtle up. He likes to defend mutas with Hydras, actually, because it's a quicker response. And it's an alright response if you can get those Hydras grouped up and you get them in the right location. But viOLet's really good at picking off Hydras that do pop out of hatcheries and whatnot. So it's going to be really, really tense, but if Snute can hold off fine and not lose too many drones, his army will be stronger going into the mid-late game.
All right, well, Snute actually has to deal with a good amount of Zerglings here, and he's already lost a couple of these Roaches. viOLet got a valuable scout at the same time. He's seen that this next hatchery is up. Snute trying to pull himself back to creep here. Queen's not actually getting involved quite yet. No kidding. That could have saved a Roach, though, but nonetheless, Snute holds on. He does get a good read on his own opponent's 3rd base, and has he seen the Spire? Yes, he has.
Really cool trick that Snute's actually doing between his natural and 3rd. He's putting down creep spread through the overlords, so that way it makes it a little bit easier for his queens to transverse the area. He's got 2 more on the way. I really like 3 queen openings against muta play, just for one that you can keep one constantly injecting one base because you're going to need to get out a few units. But it's also really helpful for having a transfuse available as well as moving across between the natural and 3rd. But here we go. Mutas are about to pop out. 7 have been created. You can create a couple more if he would like to, but I'm assuming he wants to get potentially a +1 or anything if he wants to follow up that. Actually, he's going in a Infestation Pit. So
yeah.
That Muta's going to be in there to do a little bit of econ damage, and the Infestors will be the follow-up to hold off any Roach aggression that might come.
Well, the Mutalists are going to do, the good portion of their job, which is clearing out the Overlords, making sure that they establish map dominance and things like that, and just generally be annoying and keep Snute on his toes. I mean, he only produced 7 and decided to go to that Infestor play, so he's not trying to kill his opponent with Mutas. He's not trying to go for this giant flock or anything. And this is really what does damage, actually, in Muta attacks, or these Zergling run-bys. It looks like one queen is going to bite the dust, but enough were made that that's not going to be that big of an issue. The Mutas have already taken quite a bit of damage, but there's not... Okay, there we go. There is one Spore Crawler inside of the main for anti-air on top of this queen.
Yeah, Snute's going to be okay here as long as he doesn't lose too many drones off his gas. He's already done a nice amount of damage to the mutas, and for the most part, it's already been held off. Usually, the good thing about mutas is a surprise factor. They pop in, kill a lot of drones, they're harass heavy, they are annoying, as well as losing a lot of overlords. But actually, overall, Snute doesn't have that many overlords on the map. Usually you have about 5 to 6 that get snipe buff. He's only had 2. That's actually a huge advantage for him, and now he's got 4 queens popping out, deciding not to go for Hydras. He'll have Infestors out pretty soon. Roach Infestors a pretty strong composition, especially if you get there first. He's already got 2-2 on the way.
Yeah, and nice job here by viOLet just to continue to be annoying, though, just sitting back and making sure that the Glaive Worm does damage to the mutas, or I'm sorry, to the drones that are actually mining off of gas here. But Snute's been pulling those back one at a time and making sure that he doesn't take any unnecessary damage. Now, at the same time, he's actually gone up to a 4th base. Now, viOLet's going to pick up on this with the mutas right now. He hadn't actually seen it up until then, and viOLet's actually moved into pretty heavy and faster production. Snute, though, taking the other route, starting to move into Roach Hydra. Okay, he does have his Infestation Pit up. He does have his Pathogen Glands done, but no Infestors to speak of quite yet.
Oh my gosh, and he's ahead by 10 drones, which is big in his EVZ, finally falling up the Hydra list in that I was mentioning. So he's just going to have a Roach, Hydra, Infestor army. It's very gas intensive, and you need that 4th base, and now I understand why I grabbed it a bit earlier. He's going to just basically A-move his way to victory. I mean, he'll grab Infestors as well and drop down some great fungals overall, but Roach Hydra is a strong composition late mid-game into late game, believe it or not. You sprinkle in those Hydras, if you can land in any fungals, to the point where Hydras are just raining down Supreme with their upgrade.
Yeah.
They just destroy armies. But again, Simeon viOLet to make sure either A, he lands fungals on top of those and follows up with Ling aggression on the Hydras, because that's the main part of the DPS in this composition.
All right, so let's take a look at the overall army count. So those mutas are still flying around, but it's 22 to 28 roaches, 6 to 3 infestors right now. viOLet with the infestor advantage. Oh, and he gets a little bit better engagement here. He's actually able to pick off one queen and fungal a bunch of roaches before the rest of the army actually makes their way up. But now Snute is advanced with the rest of his forces. He is winning the battle around the right-hand side, but can he actually kind of close this in? And it looks like he will. Yeah, you mentioned that upgrade advantage, and he's actually doing a fantastic job at pushing this back.
That upgrade is destroyed. As you saw, viOLet had the better engagement there. Snute had no concave whatsoever, but just because he had the +2 carapace and the +2 range attack, he's just able to destroy viOLet here. He's killing off all the infestors as he's walking away. The infestors have no energy. They can't really fungal them on the ramp. He could, if he wanted to, move around to that third to start putting aggression on. He's still following up with 7 Hydras as well. He does have the creep spread to help, but still, he's got a lot of DPS and he has a lot of units outside that 3rd/4th.
And look at the rally of these overlords, too. They're all floating out over the middle, and that was a huge game for Snute there. Yeah, I mean, his opponent just made 4 overlords to prevent that problem, but he flew him out to the middle of the map, and now he has to make another 4. It's a 400 mineral loss, and a bunch of time that's actually sent back as he can't make any more units right now.
Well, Snute, again, grabbed his 4th base already. He can keep up with this. He's got a total of 8 gases. So much gas available for him. 4th will be killed off and actually wasn't even canceled there. And he's moving up to Hive behind this, so he'll be able to start moving up to 3/3 upgrades, and if he wanted to, start moving up to the Broodlord tech that we see in super late game. But in all honesty, I don't know if viOLet can get there. It's a very scary position for him, and I just expect Snute to keep up the aggression.
Well, he is going to try a little bit of a counterattack here. Yeah, and pull some units away. Because Snute is actually supply, you can't even call it supply capped, he's maxed out at the moment. It's not like he can make units and rally them in to defend this. So he has to pull some forces back, and he's choosing to pull everything. And as soon as he does that, viOLet wanted to buy time. Now he's bought it. Can he do anything with it, though?
This is really good for viOLet and very unfortunate for Snute. And he didn't have any overlords again because of the mutas earlier. He never replaced them after he moved out across them on the map, so he didn't know how many roaches were coming. So that's why he pulled everything back. And still, these roaches are doing a little bit of damage. They finally will be cleaned up. But this has allowed viOLet to get a force outside of his 3rd, start to catch up on drones a little bit. He's only 5 behind now. And it looks like that 4th hatchery is going up as well. So nice play from viOLet. And that just shows from experience, man. He just knows, I can't engage this, I'm going to make something happen.
Well, here's the thing, too. He's bought himself time, and he's actually operating on 19 workers less than his opponent. So if he can delay for a little bit longer, and he can get to the point where he has close to a maxed out army himself, he's actually going to be on a fairly superior army overall. He's still going to be down in upgrades, though. He's still not going to have the quality of units that he would like, but he's finding equity in this game where just a minute ago, it looked like Snute was kind of just going to push through and win immediately.
Well, he's going to have his +2 finished up. What does he have on terms of armor, viOLet?
Let's take a look.
It's going to be
just +1.
Okay, so he's still going to be at a disadvantage. I thought he would be tied a little bit, but unfortunately he didn't grab that carapace. And these roaches, again, just being annoying, and this is quite full of Snute. He's going to go ahead and decide to engage, though, here in the bottom right corner. Engaging first, a nice fungal, and it looks like the concave, again, is better for viOLet. It just seems better when it comes to engagements. And he's trying to come from 2 areas, and unfortunately, it just wasn't synchronized. viOLet will be forced to pull back. Spine crawlers taking on the infested Terrans. Can Snute break through? It does not look like it. viOLet is going to hold.
And viOLet at the same time was doing economic damage behind this. He's now killed 40 workers. He killed an additional 20 in that last engagement. So now he has an economic lead, and he's on parity in terms of army. I mean, with his upgrades that just finished up, he's actually even there too, or pretty close. He's down 1 carapace upgrade. I'm sorry. So Snute still does have the upgrade advantage, but still, we found a remarkable situation, a remarkable turnaround for viOLet.
Man, viOLet is the clawback king. He never goes down, man. I remember casting a series a long time ago in a ZBT where he was down, or he got 2 racks. He lost his hatchery, and there was a 3 orbital opening up, and he still came back and won the thing with just mutas and just pure great engagements. The guy is so darn good in these scenarios. Snute's going to go ahead and group up outside this 3rd. Now, remember, he does have that hive finished up, and he has got 3/3 on the way, so that's going to be helpful for him when this engagement does happen. And he's got a 5th base in the top left corner. The thing is, though, he's got to stop letting these run-bys do damage to him, or he's eventually just going to have any drones. Like, he just loses too many.
And he does have another 7 infestors popping up right now. Because he's been operating on that 7th and 8th gas for so long, that's really the one thing that's really been going well for him. He's denied this 4th base for viOLet over and over and over again. So he's had better gas income. He can actually work up a little bit higher. Throwing some roaches away there, but he's actually forcing the engagement just when the rest of the infestors pop up. Once again, a little bit better position initially for viOLet, but finally some units are swinging around the side for Snute, so he does eventually gain that concave that he was looking for. All of the energy from his infestors has been used, though, on all these brand new ones, but it looks like it did did give him at least a little bit of position, but look at the reinforcements coming in for viOLet, and they're proving to be just a little bit too much.
Man, Snute had the better surface area there, and he had the upgrade advantage. The problem was his fungals were really weird. He kept fungling over and over again, and they don't stack up well. He didn't let the full duration happen from his first initial fungals, and that really hurt him. And then the follow-up from viOLet with the more roaches coming across the middle of the map, he's just better in terms of fights, it seems like. And here we go. We're just moving forward once again, and unfortunately, people may say Infestors are OP, but when it comes down to it, if you don't have any micro or any energy, they do nothing.
Right.
And it looks like moving forward, roaches will be doing some more damage. Is there more energy on the Infestors? There sure is. It looks like as he throws out the Infested Terrans. viOLet breaking this third as well as attacking the fourth at the same time. Snute looking a little defeated here. 12 roaches on the way.
Man, he did have a really nice position in this game, but wasn't able to carry it through. There's GG, and viOLet takes the set 2-0.